Where am I looking? I'm like looking everywhere. I'm like all over the place. All right. Well, hey, good morning. Uh, I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. I did the promotional video for the interview we recently did. Well, recently, I say a couple weeks ago, with Bill Wolf, which I'm still editing, but I've been a little off of it for a couple weeks. Mentally wasn't in a good place for posting videos or training or anything. So yeah, but I just came back from my run, so I'm getting back into the groove. But that's not what I wanted to talk to you guys about, actually. So I don't know if any of you watched The Good Doctor on Netflix. Well, season 3 just recently came out, and I was watching one of the episodes with my wife. And in one of the episodes, gave a really good example of aftermath. So let me give some background here. When we think about fighting or self-protection or self-defense, it doesn't happen in a vacuum, which means it's not just the fist fights or the physical techniques that we use or that physical confrontation. There are stages to this thing, right? And we have the pre-fight, which is everything that happens before we go hands-on. We have the actual in-fight, which is where 99% of most martial arts and combat sports focus primarily, is in that fight. Then we have the aftermath of the after fight, or the things that happen after the confrontation. In this episode of The Good Doctor, it gave a great example of what could happen after the fight. Now, I don't quite remember everything from the episode. I should have watched it again before I decided to do this video. But there was a guy, and he showed up to the hospital. Bandaged, half of his face was bandaged up. So they removed the bandage, and it was like whole section of so from his cheekbone down to his lower mandible was ripped off. Flesh, muscle, blood vessels, just gone. And it even, some of the structure within his jaw, his lower jaw in here, was crushed because he was on a train or a bus. He was some form of public transportation. There was a woman on the train, or that transportation, getting harassed. He stepped in, decided to fight the guy, and the guy swung a skateboard at his face, crushing half of this and then ripping tissue off his face. Watching that, and I was just like, and seeing that and hearing that was immediately kind of brought me back to the after fight. It's like, I'm jumping around here. So this guy had to get surgery. Now, the original prognosis was they were just going to have to try to figure out how to put his face back together. But because of the extensive damage that happened to his face, he would never talk again, and he would never eat solid food again. So he would end up having to eat food out of a straw for the rest of his life. Now, I bring this up because this is one of those worst case scenarios when we think about getting into a physical confrontation with someone or a group of individuals, because we will never know what the outcome is. No matter how great of a fighter you are, things can go south. And so it can go either someone's hospitalized, either you or the people that you are in a persons that you're in a confrontation with will be hospitalized, or someone's going to die. Those are worst case scenarios, right? Best case scenario, knocks, bruises, people walk away, right? With the bruised egos and maybe a couple cuts, scrapes, and bruises, right? That's great. That's like the best outcome if you happen to be in a physical confrontation. But that example there kind of really showed that you never know. When we're thinking about this, when we're thinking about how we're protecting ourselves, we should really consider not only that infight. The okay, yes, I have good striking. I have good grappling. I can grapple. I can maintain distance. That's all good and all. Are you ready for what's going to happen afterwards? Have you thought about the consequences of you, what's going to happen to you if you get into this confrontation, or what's going to happen to the other person? And not limited to that. Worst case scenario, you're hospitalized or worse, or that person's hospitalized or worse. What's going to happen to your family, your loved ones? Because they didn't sign up for that. You were only thinking about your ego and kind of making sure that, yes, I'm on top, I'm the man, or however you identify. But then now you put your family into a position where now you're injured. You can't provide for them if you're the one providing for them. They have to wonder for however long why this happened to you. And it's going to put a lot of strain on your relationship with the family, and probably worse. There might be psychological damage, especially if you have children or a wife. And so we have to think about these things before we get into those physical confrontations. Is how are my actions going to affect me? How are my actions going to affect my health, my livelihood, and the livelihood of my family, my friends, my loved ones? And so put your ego in check when you leave the house, because it's going to save you from a lot of trouble that you might end up encountering. Now, there are other things that we can do to mitigate the possibilities of us being targeted for physical violence. That all happens in the pre-fight. The things that happen before the actual physical confrontation occurs. That's another conversation we can have. But think about the aftermath. Think about those worst case scenarios. And are you okay with your family having to suffer? Are you okay with you having to suffer for your own actions? That's all I wanted to say today. And then I'm going to post the other video up. I'm working on the interview. And so I'm going to post that video up, hopefully, and while I'm breaking it up into episodes, so it's a little, it's taking some time. I suck at video editing, so forgive me. It's only me and my friend Dave doing this right now, so, yeah. Thanks for, again, stopping and watching and enjoying the videos. It's a little difficult. Dave has a son. I have a daughter. They're both very young. My daughter's almost 3 months. His son's like 5-6 months old. So we're working through some things here. So that's all. And I hope if you guys like the videos and the content, please like, subscribe. If you want to hear more things like this, or I just kind of have a conversation with you, then, let me know in the comment section below. Well, other than that, I gotta go because I gotta shower and grab my daughter. So bye, everybody.